Welcome to Classic Christmas Stories. It's October of 2025, and I wanted to tease you a little bit about the upcoming season of Classic Christmas Stories. Starting on Thanksgiving weekend, you will begin to see new stories appearing on this podcast, so be sure that you're subscribed and ready to get those new downloads. We're looking forward to having some great stories for you this coming year. Also, I'm taking this opportunity to introduce you to a great novel that I encourage you to check out. It's written by my wife, Jenelle Hovde, and it's called No Stone Unturned. In a moment, I'm going to give you a sample from that book just to tease you a little bit on that as well. And I'm going to encourage you to go purchase the book if you can at one of your favorite bookstores or online where it's available almost everywhere where books are sold. Again, that book is called No Stone Unturned by Jenelle Hovde. I'll put a link in the podcast notes for you if you're wanting to check that out. And here's a little description of it. It's a stirring Regency romance published by Tyndall House. She wants to uncover the past. He's determined to build a future. Set among the rolling hills of West Sussex, No Stone Unturned follows Miss Bridget Littleton, a passionate young woman whose love for history and antiquities defies the expectations of her time. When a farmer discovers an ancient Roman mosaic buried beneath his field, Bridget seizes the chance to make her mark on the world. But her dreams collide with those of Captain Rafe Hawthorne, a wounded soldier devoted to restoring his ancestral estate and the livelihoods of those who depend on it. What begins as a clash of wills soon becomes a story of resilience, faith, and unexpected love. When a string of disasters threatens everything they hold dear, Bridget and Rafe must decide whether their greatest discovery lies beneath the soil or within each other. If you enjoy historical romance filled with heart, hope, and a touch of mystery, this story is for you. Let's step back into Regency, England, and hear a sample of No Stone Unturned by Jenelle Hovde. We'll dive into where our heroine and hero first meet, or is it a clash? You can find Jenelle at JenelleHovdeAuthor.com for sweet, clean fiction. Without further ado, let's have a sample from this great novel. As I glanced around the countryside at the gentle, verdant slopes of the valley, I could almost imagine myself transported back to ancient times as the lady of the villa. My hair would fall free with a ribbon wrapped around the crown of my head. My dress would be a simple tunic covered with a stola pinned at the shoulders. I would wear dangling silver earrings and cover my bare feet in soft leather sandals instead of itchy cotton stockings and snug slippers. I tugged at my bonnet to loosen the tight strings. If only I could feel as free as I imagined the lady of the villa might live. Moving the leather satchel under one arm distracted me from the sound of thunder in the distance. By the time I turned to greet the rushing menace, a stranger on horseback barreled down the road, heading straight toward me. Clods of dirt shot from beneath the pounding hooves. For a moment I thought I stared at a Roman conqueror, with a sword slapping at his side. Twilight bathed the road in shades of muted gray and purple, with shadows hiding its poor condition. The man's greatcoat billowed like raven wings, and his head was bent low. As he raced past the fields, flocks of birds scurried into the air, squawking their outrage. I jumped out of the way as the fearsome horse thundered past and splattered mud against my gown, allowing me a glimpse of the man's stern face, with a harsh mouth pulled into a thin line. Would he see the holes in the road ahead, or would he break that poor beast's legs? My bonnet, freed from the knot that had secured it under my chin, slipped from my numb fingers and tumbled down my back as I hurried southward, away from Hawthorne Abbey. In my shock, I dropped the satchel, causing brushes and papers to scatter over the damp ground. Crying out, I reached for the drawing first, only for a rebellious breeze to snatch it out of my grasp. I chased after it, my bonnet bouncing behind me as I ran toward the village and my father's parsonage. "You there, miss!" I glanced back to see the horse jerk to a halt. I gasped for a moment, mesmerized by the height and breadth of that massive beast pawing at the ground. For once, I wished I had taken Miss Perry's offer to escort me home. Good heavens, what a sight I must present! Nothing could disguise the state of my attire, not even the falling twilight. I wanted nothing more than to avoid the imposing man on the road and recapture my sketch of Bacchus before slinking back to the parsonage. "Can you speak?" The man's voice, deep and velvet, carried an edge I didn't care for. I swallowed hard, forcing my beating pulse to slow. The paper rolled out of my reach, fluttered in the breeze, and became trapped among the grass. "I assure you I can speak quite well." He drew closer, giving me ample opportunity to study him. Towering over me on a horse the color of midnight, the man assessed my bedraggled form from head to toe. His gaze dropped to the ground where my unfortunate picture lay. When he raised his head, his eyes narrowed. "Your paper?" "Yes, it is. I believe your horse is about to crush my drawing. Would you be so kind to remove yourself so I may retrieve it?" I met his bold gaze with one of my own. His clothes, though marred with mud, were serviceable rather than stylish, from the Hessian boots to the buckskin breeches clinging to his legs. A simple knotted cravat and fitted coat hinted at something finer, and his clean-shaven jaw, though as dimpled as a satyr's, clenched and unclenched. Flinty eyes, almost black with the gathering darkness, stared at me. He was younger than I first surmised, and upon closer inspection I recognized the military cut of the coat. Pain stabbed in my chest when I noticed the brass buttons. But this man was nothing like Daniel, with his round cheeks and gap-toothed grin. Without a word, the stranger dismounted. He snatched up the damp sketch of Bacchus and limped toward me. Of course, as fate would have it, the soggy paper chose that moment to unfurl into its full glory, providing a glimpse of the smirking god. The stranger glanced at it, one black eyebrow arching in question. "Interesting. An acquaintance of yours?" "That is not your concern," I responded coolly, my frustration at odds with his limp. Had he sustained a recent injury? The frostiness of his tone drowned out any sense of pity. Clearing his throat, the man offered me the paper, and I was careful not to wrinkle it as I took it. I did not care to explain the drawing or the mosaic within the field, nor could I help noticing how his greatcoat emphasized the stranger's broad shoulders. He appeared equally intimidating on the ground, without the benefit of his mount. A gentleman, perhaps, judging from the cut of his clothes, but not a dandy. He tilted his head, indicating the lane ahead. "How much further on this cursed road till I reach Hawthorne Abbey?" "You have less than a mile to traverse, sir. There are holes ahead, and should your horse stumble into one—" I let my warning slide into the space between us. The horse snorted, as if in agreement. Curiosity made me want to ask who the man was, and why he felt the need to travel so recklessly. Instead, I bit the inside of my cheek. "Is nothing tended here in this god-forsaken place?" His icy gaze dropped to my stained gown, his censure clear, as if the careless state of my dress extended to the state of the roads. I flinched at his disdain, despite my best effort to appear calm. The farmers of Bramner work hard to contribute their share to the Turnpike Trust. Unfortunately, with the rising costs of farming, the fund reserved for roads and bridges had shrunk in recent years. Clearly, their efforts are not enough. Ire bubbled at his caustic response. It is also the responsibility of the Lord to tend to his community's needs. And since Lord Hawthorne passed away 2.5 months ago, we have yet to meet his heir. One can only hope he will be an improvement, though I don't hold to it considering previous experience with the Hawthorne family. A harsh laugh, a bark really, exploded from the stranger. He tipped his beaver hat up to better view my face. "Your opinion is duly noted. Pray, just who might you be, other than a woodland sprite sent to misguide my way?" I wasn't in the habit of handing out my name to strangers, and I had no intention of doing so this evening. I must bid you good evening if you are to arrive at Hawthorne Abbey at a decent hour. I edged closer to the field. He was boorish and demanding, all qualities I disliked in a man. The hour certainly isn't decent for a miss to walk the roads alone. The stranger pursed his lips as he mounted his horse. With a grimace, he settled into the saddle. Once astride, he pulled on the reins and turned his horse, as if to accompany me. Was he concerned as a gentleman, or curious, in a predatory sort of way? It's not a long walk. My father waits for me. With my art trapped beneath my left arm, I retrieved my bonnet. Unfortunately, my hair, though still pinned, remained uncovered, with loose strands playing about my face. Your father? What kind of man lets his daughter roam the countryside alone at night? His faint mockery made me bristle. I tugged the bonnet onto my head with a violence that surprised me. How could I hide my identity? He would know my name if he spent any time in Branmore. Good night, sir, I replied firmly as I resumed my walk home. A few of my brushes lay hidden within the long grass, but I would rather suffer 3 enormous bottles of cod liver oil than scrounge on the ground for my precious tools in front of him. I would return to search for the lost brushes tomorrow morning. He didn't follow, and before long I heard the rhythmic pounding of hoofs once more before they faded into the distance. My pulse, however, didn't slow with his disappearance. Instead, it raced through my veins until my heart rattled. I was sick with dread that I had just met the new lord of Hawthorne Abbey. If you want to hear more about this story, you'll have to read it for yourself, and I will leave again the link for you in the podcast notes for you to find your own copy of No Stone Unturned. It is a great Regency novel, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Once again, be looking forward to new Christmas stories to be posted Thanksgiving weekend and throughout the holiday season this year in 2025. I'm looking forward to presenting more great stories for you. So until then, have a great time and we'll see you during the holiday.